enter into a new country like Guatemala can be a little frightening. But as soon as we arrived, you could not help but notice the inviting doorways that welcomed us in. All sorts of doors beautifully carved, accenting their modest homes and making Antigua the charming city that it is. They just seemed to beckon us to get to know them more. Part of our mission was to visit Hermano Pedro Hospital and to work with those severely handicapped. And we visited a new clinic offering free service to the poor, and visited a new school that was doing great things to turn around the high illiteracy rate in Guatemala. Much of our funding as a church went to help each to continue their good work. But mostly, we went to build. And each day we would pile in a pickup truck with our mission host houses to homes. The day started with a very steep climb to the build site. We built 2 homes with 2 groups. They each had 1 room for a family of 7. But we rolled up our sleeves every day as our guides from Houses to Homes taught us step by step how to build a house. And we learned new tasks. And we used every muscle we had, and we built block by block until it began to actually take the shape of a house. The Guatemalans taught us how to lay bricks, filling each crack between the bricks with cement. They called it making tacos.
Making tacos.
We could not have guessed that the simple task of putting cement between 2 bricks would not only have been a task to bond the bricks, but would also help bond relationships. And even in our silence of working together, filling the cracks and filling the voids between the bricks served as a therapeutic and holy act. Everyone took pride in every task, and they just poured their hearts into the process that became a wonderful lesson in loving our neighbor. And our families worked side by side with us. And the language barrier did not get in the way much as we began to fall in love with each child. What it means to be poor and what it means to be rich were redefined. And we learned that they were far richer than they were poor. The accommodations weren't the finest, and it was a dusty, dirty business.
Very good.
But we were building something, and it felt right, and God was there teaching us. It didn't take long to find we were standing on holy ground. You could see it in the beauty of the land, with God's magnificent volcanoes surrounding us. Our families had little means, but they had $1 million view. And we saw pure joy in its most simplistic form as a beautiful, happy little boy named Neri showed us how life should be lived as he swung on his long rope over the beautiful mountainscape. We've never seen such happiness, such simplicity. It was a place where the skies just seemed to be bluer than ever before. It was a slice of heaven. On Thursday, we took a few hours out as the cement dried and played one another in soccer. It was a great time of the cultures coming together. Our guides kept saying each day, "Keep working. We know it's hard work, but come Friday, it will be easy. It is a half day." But as the door was being hung on its hinges, we could feel it would not be the easiest day, but the hardest. We didn't expect the children and the families to steal our hearts the way they did. So saying goodbye was harder than any physical thing we did all week. To know we would never see Neri or Andrea or any of the other children was something we just had not prepared ourselves for. But I believe it was God's main work in us to open wide the doors of our hearts, to love people we didn't know and probably would never see again. And in the closing ceremony, when we turned over the keys to our families to say our last goodbyes, we knew that those keys were symbolic of the kingdom of God that starts here on earth.
Collierville Christian Church.
So we had gone to Guatemala to build something, to help roll away the stone for those impoverished people. But in the process we found God rolled away the stones from us as well. and we found new meaning and new purpose in being disciples of Christ.